voicemails. I was in the middle of making fudge, or I would have answered sooner. I winced at my own rambling message. As the boss, I was never supposed to make excuses or apologize. I'm headed to the warehouse. Call me if you're no longer there. Otherwise, I'm coming down to see what I can do to help. I hung up my phone. There was a third message, but I assumed that it was from Rodney Rivers as well. He sounded insistent. I didn't take the time to listen any further. Instead, I stripped out of my chef's jacket, which was stiff from sugar and candy ingredients that tended to float in the air whenever I was inventing something new. The lobby door to the McMurphy was open to let in the soft, fresh lake air, which blew the summer white linen curtains softly. I called to my reservation manager. "Francis, I need to meet Mr. Rivers at the fireworks warehouse. Can you cover for me until Sandy comes in?" "Sure can," Francis answered from her perch behind the reservation desk. "What's up?" I'd inherited Francis, along with a historic McMurphy hotel and fudge shop, when my Papa Liam died. She had worked the busy summer seasons for Papa and Grammy Alice for as long as I could remember. Mr. Rivers didn't say exactly, but there may be something wrong with some of the fireworks. "Do you want me to call the fire department?" Francis looked at me over the top of her dark purple reading glasses. It was hard to tell she was in her 70s. She kept her brunette hair immaculate, and her skin glowed in a way I hoped mine would at her age. "No, I think if it were bad enough for the fire department, Mr. Rivers would have called them. He's an expert at that kind of thing, and has always stressed safety first." My bichonpoo puppy, Marshmallow, Mal for short, got up from her comfortable spot in the pink doggy bed beside Francis. She stretched her back legs in a manner I liked to call doggy yoga. It mimicked the downward dog position, and trotted over to me, then begged to be picked up. When I ignored the blatant display of cuteness, she poked my black cotton-covered leg with her nose. A sign she knew I was going out, and she expected me to take her. "No, Mal, it's too far for you," I said, and gathered up my keys and things in a small bag with shoestring handles that turned it into a backpack. She sat, sighed loudly, and turned back to her bed. "I'll call as soon as I find out more." I pulled the bag over my shoulders. "Let Sandy know we're short on the chocolate cherry and the cotton candy fudge." "Will do." Francis went back to her computer. She had been my Grammy Alice's best friend. She'd worked summers for my grandparents for something fun to do and to make a little extra money. When she retired from teaching, she came to work for Papa Liam full-time. When Papa died in March, Francis had stayed to help me navigate the ins and outs of running the McMurphy. I counted on her to introduce me to our regular customers. Some had been summering at the McMurphy for generations, others just a season or two, but Francis remembered them all. I grabbed my thin blue jean jacket from a hook near the back door and put it on over the top of my pink McMurphy polo shirt and went out the back door of the hotel. Part of the appeal of Mackinac Island, besides the world-famous fudge and the grand Victorian painted lady summer cottages, was the fact that motorized vehicles, with the exception of the ambulance and fire truck, were not allowed on the island. That meant there were only 3 modes of transportation: horse-drawn carriage, bicycle, and on foot. Since the fireworks were stored in a cinder block warehouse near the airport, I decided to bike it and unchained my bicycle from the stand in the back alley. 2 miles on foot might make my current tardiness even worse. I threw my blue ked-covered right foot over the bike and took off, thankful for the black slacks that were part of my standard uniform. It really was a lovely day. I was continually amazed at the laid-back beauty of the island and the large state park in the center that offered good hiking, beautiful views, and fresh air to anyone who'd had enough of the hustle and bustle of the fort and shops of Main Street. I watched the Grand Hotel's Cessna 421C charter plane land as I drew close to the airport. The airport warehouse had been built to store supplies flown in during the winter months when the ferries quit running. We picked it for the fireworks storage because it was cinder block and away from the crowds. A handful of tourists stepped out.